Swami Maharaj ki jai. Gaura Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. We are happy to be with all of you again today, discussing very important topic on leadership for an age of high consciousness, written by His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. Last week we looked at the importance of time, why time is very important, or what is time. We look at what is time. And Gurudev gave a foundation, which is the heading of this chapter. Why is it important to be concerned about time? Very important question. So last week we will look at that. And he answered it because time is life. You know that everything is based on time. Everything in this world is based on time. And as Guru mentioned, the way people manage time reveals much about their personalities, their perceptions of themselves, their relationships to their fellow creatures, and their connections to the cosmos. As I visit many places, I look at how people react to time, as Gurudev mentioned it. So, for me, as soon as I get to any place, the first thing as a devotee want to look in the temple is where the deity is. Where is the Prabhupada and the deities? That's the first thing. The next thing I want to see is the time, the clock in the temple room. So if I don't see that, it tells a lot. If I don't see a clock in the temple room, it gives a powerful message. It means what? In this place, time is not important. Things are not done on time. That's the message. So, the Gurudev is saying that the way we manage time reveals much about our personalities. That is true. If I don't see a clock, a world clock, the time in the temple room, immediately tells me that in this place, nothing here is done on time. And people do things the time they like. It also means that the mind is very dull. The mind is not sharp. The mind is very, very dull. So it is true that it tells very much about the personality. And if I see any clock in a public and not work immediately, if I'm going to stay there for some time, immediately I'll ask the clock to be taken down, to remove my temple. Why? Because everything in that environment will be slow down. Time is very important because in the beginning of creation, nothing moves until when time enters. That defined in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So time is very, very important. It is life. It is life because with time, we get to enjoy. With time, things get to grow. Everything happens by time. And therefore, one experienced man has said, there is no time like the present. The present tells very much in our lives. So we continue to look at the second part of this topic for today. And today we are looking at item 5. Time is temporary yet unyielding. Time is temporary yet unyielding. Most people view time management as a vehicle for accomplishing more within a shorter time. And would they say, well, in terms of efficiency, this approach is valid, but that is not important. It is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that, however, time management also means focusing on quality rather than quantity. So it's not about the quantity, but the quality. Last week I told a friend sent somebody to see me with some valuable items. And then she said, I'm very sorry that the things are coming late. I said, see. I said, see. If you are late and the items which you are being sent are valuable items, that would not make me to look at time again, because the most important thing is what we have sent. The items, that is very important. And because they are what I really loved, the time will not be counted anymore. So it is a quality, but not quantity. If you are late, you are sent to go and purchase 5 things, and to be arrived at 2 o'clock, and are coming 3 o'clock, but everything was gotten. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about the time again. So yeah, this is right, because that is the most important thing. The most important thing, that the things you went for are all achieved. So managing time is not about quantity, but quality. For those in positions of leadership, it is not efficient to waste time in foolish or counterproductive ways. In many cases, taking no action at all is preferable to acting without appropriate planning. Often, thinking things over is a better use of time than behaving extemporaneously, and risking unexpected chaos or great conflict. At least not doing anything is better. Because why is it better? Because you have not wasted any energy or resources. In fact, it means that you didn't even waste your energy, anything. But to doing something which is useless, not of benefit, in fact, it will irritate it will irritate people more than if you don't do anything. I told this on the notice, if we don't know how to solve a problem, it's better to leave it as it is than to increase it. It's better. That's a gentleman way of doing things. You don't know how to do something, do not enter there. Just better don't do anything. Just leave it as it is than to add to the problem. Adding to the problem is very bad. So it is better for us to think seriously over something. In fact, His Holiness God Govina Maharaj said, anything which is not Krishna conscious, that we want to do, we should think about things seriously 360 times before doing it. In fact, if you do that, you have a better way to do it. That's what it means. You have a better way to do things than to jump into something, especially for a leader. It is for everybody, but particularly for leader. And all of us, we are all leaders, we have mentioned many times. Better to think about something very carefully before doing it. Of course, is Holiness has said, if it is Krishna conscious thing, do it immediately. You don't have to calculate. But if it is not Krishna conscious thing, in fact, what he is saying is that if it is not the Krishna conscious thing, don't do it. Don't waste time. It's a waste of time. Better not to do something than to do something whimsically and bring more problems than what it has already been. We already have so much. We don't want to add again. No intelligent persons will add again to the problem. We already have so much. Intelligence means that we are trying to eliminate all that which have been already there, all the necessary things. Another time, liberty. We want to eliminate all the necessary things which have already been created. And then empty our sinful bank account. What? The spiritual bank account. So every leader should be very careful. We are doing things which are very, very productive, not counterproductive. And for that, we have to be very, very, very careful not to waste time in foolish or counterproductive ways. Do not waste time, because we already mentioned time is not our property. Time is Krishna and Krishna property. It is Krishna and Krishna property. It's not our property. That is why many people don't have time. And will not have time. A few days ago, I told them I'm going to buy a watch so you can have time. So I don't have time. Oh yeah, don't worry, I'll buy a watch so you can have time. In my room, I have so many clocks in my room. Some time back, I was having more than 5 clocks. And now I have so many. One clock is there, and all the cell phones that the clock is there. I have one in my computers, everything. For time conscious. When we are time conscious, we will do things effectively. We are conscious of time. We do things sequentially. Looking at time means that we want to do what is necessary the time. We want to be careful because we know that we are dealing with something very important. The Chanaka Pandit said, if you miss one moment, you can't get it back for billions of dollars. And Srimad Bhagavatam said, as the sun rises and sets, it is gone. It is gone. We can't get it back. It is gone. Today is 19th, right? 19th March 2020. To meet 19th March again, it will not be 2021. Sorry, not 2021. It will be 2022. So we can't get it back. It is gone. And our life is gone for that. So it is given that no human being will be here on earth forever. Therefore, without becoming paranoid about death, we should be mindful of completing a daily work as if each day we are last. Approaching each task as if it were the final act of your life. I have seen His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj. I have seen that every day he has a list of the things he has to do for the day. And he will go through all. Even though he has gone through all of it, he will still ask his spiritual master if there were something he wanted him to do that day, which he didn't do or didn't recognize. This is how he lives his life. He lives always at the present, because what we do today is the future. That is how time works. Naturally, you want to conclude your existence in some meaningful way. You can be more assured of attaining this goal if you are careful not to leave your affairs in disarray, and if you take measures that will enable others to easily take up where you left off. This is easily done by a person who has vision. We have seen in academies who are very thoughtful, they do this. Like a personality who discovered electricity, he's not the one who finished it, right? Somebody else finished it because he has taken it up to the stage that it is tangible. Any person can complete it from there, and that's what happened. And many things are like that. Most of the wonderful discoveries that happened, the people who started it first are not always the same people who completed it. So instead of worrying about something, it is better for us to start doing something, right? We should start doing something, not to worry about something. Start doing something. It's if one is worrying, oh, I have to go 120 kilometers. So how long am I? How long will I be able to get there? One will simply be frustrated, but start moving. Since you know the goal, you know the destination, you know where you're going to go, and you know the way. Better to start going than to sit down and be contemplating and feeling very disturbed on how long it will take you to get there. Better start moving. Because at least you are not at the same position, at the same distance again. You have covered some distance by moving. And because you are moving, it will give you encouragement to continue and achieve the goal. So it's better for us to do something which is meaningful and plan what we have to do. Okay. Endeavor to perform your leadership task with tremendous clarity. That's very important. That's very, very important. Keeping in mind a definite end result. When you give your full attention to the immediate task, then even today is your last. Even if today is your last, your legacy will live on through your work. This frame of mind allows you to do your best to offer the highest quality and the greatest quantity of service without procrastinating or diminishing the quality of your work. Some people say that procrastinating is a tip of time. What people say. Procrastinating is a tip of time. Yes, I will do this, I will do this. You will not do anything. Better to start doing it. Once one has set the goal and when it's very clear about what you want to do, that's the most important thing for every person to be successful in any project we have. We should be clear about what we want to do. Why? It will save our time. When one is clear about what you want to do, when you know exactly what to do, or if you know your destination, you know the journey, you will always do things on time. Say, for example, you are going to a place you don't know, it will going to take a long time because you're going to ask somebody to direct you. And if you're not fortunate, You ask somebody who is going to take you a different direction. It happens regularly. It is very difficult for a Kali Yuga person to tell you the truth. I'm sorry, I don't know the truth. Especially in third world country. I'm sorry, I don't know the word. Such a simple thing, but very difficult for many people to do. Why? Because we are complicated. We are controlled by ignorance. So it's difficult for third world, especially third world in the case of those of us who are in the mode of ignorance. And that is what is dominating the present situation. So we should be very clear about what we want to do. Then there's a need to set the goals, to set the goal. It's a need, absolute necessity to set the goal. Endeavor to perform your leadership tasks with tremendous clarity. That is very important because you will not be confused on the way. I always give this example. When the Salakapa was going to start in the temple in Bombay, the Salakapa wanted a temple where it is now. But at that time, it was not a beautiful city, powerful place as it is. It was a jungle. So the devotees were pointing hand to Akash Road. It's already a posh area with many people. Yeah, this one is a preaching movement, so we have to stay in the place where we can preach. But the Papa has a clear vision of what he wants to do. And he knows exactly what he needed to accomplish the task. So Papa said, yeah. The devotee pointing hand there. Papa said, yeah. That thing was very difficult to understand because he has a clear understanding of what he wants to do. What he needed to accomplish his project. He got it. It is when he established it because it is when he established it that it became a wonderful thing that people can identify with and appreciate as it is today. If we were also confused like us, what is happening, I wouldn't have been a wonderful thing. The advert for Jew temple is heaven on earth. It's heaven on earth. But that time, nobody saw it as heaven on earth. Nobody saw what is this big bush. Our Papa has a clear vision, keeping in mind a definite end result. He knows, and he did that. He put Krishna there without the temple. His rather is Rasa Bihari. You stay here. You stay here, my Lord. I will build you a temple later. Eh? That never happened before. Put a deity. The deity was having a very nice way, like it is now. Beautiful marble temple. But when properly installed the deity there, they're not marble, nothing there. They stay here, my Lord. I'll build the temple later. And he did. Right. Yeah, he's clear about what he wants to do. He knows the different result of his project. Yes. When you give your full attention to the immediate task, so he knows systematically. Okay, this is the land has to be purchased. Then even to get the land, there's so many difficulties. No, deities will stay here. He is very clear. Deities will stay here because what is deity? By law, you cannot. Right? Only demonic people will do this. People who are very, very gentle, who have a human nature, will not remove God. This is a supreme person of God. They cannot destroy. But today, people are not more. They are no more human beings, demons in disguise, which was a situation 5,000 years ago that Krishna came to do the Kshetra war. People are not godly, but they claim to be godly. A godly person cannot destroy God. Of course, nobody can destroy God anyway. But so people think that the marvel is. So the property, put the deities there. Krishna, you stay here. I'll put the temple. He's clear about what he's doing. Therefore, he put the whole of the attention there and he achieved the goal. He also introduced the TOVP, the temple of Vedic Planetarium. Then he is not physically here, but he's continuing because what he had left behind is what he had left behind. He laid a tangible project that can be continued with his disciples. It is happening because he knows the goal. He has clear understanding about what he wants to do, and he put it down. It planted it in the hand of the disciples. It is happening. That's a leader. Then, even if today is your last, it doesn't matter. Your legacy will live on through your work. Yes, see what is happening. Practically happening. Papa established this. And the duty of a disciple is not only when the spiritual master is physically present and we have to show how powerful a disciple we are. Actually, the real disciple will act even better when the spiritual master is physically present. Not that he has to wait until the spiritual master is not physically present. No, you have to do what is present and also do better when he's not present. That is when to demonstrate who is actually a bona fide disciple. We're seeing that. Prabhupada did what something is spiritual matter every day. And his disciples are doing the same thing when he is not physically present. That is the beauty of the spiritual master and how he affected his disciples who are also bona fide. This frame of mind allows you to do your best to offer the highest quality and the greatest quantity of service without procrastinating or diminishing the quality of the work. Nothing goes down. It is always coming up, not going down. Do not go down. It should never go down. It should always come up, always. So, Gurudev has given us the techniques to make the best use of our time, the practical way to do these things. How can we make the best use of our time? Something to hold on to. We can practice every day in our life. You can develop short-term and long-term goals that you evaluate each day, every day. You can develop short-term and long-term goals that you evaluate each day. Hearing things like this, the devotees will be reading who is familiar with our Krishna conscious philosophy. We'll have a question, right? Any person who is familiar with our philosophy will have a question to ask. Everything depends on Krishna. And our frame of mind is, today is my last day. Therefore, if today my consciousness should be, I should chant our Krishna mantra as if today is my last day of japa. I should do my devotional service as if today is the last day of my life. And everything should be done as if today is the last day. Then what is the use of a long-term goal? What is the use of long-term goal? When my attention, we are trained to have emergency consciousness. This is our life. All our chariots has emergency consciousness. And we're also trained to have emergency consciousness. Emergency. In fact, here we'll discuss about that also in detail. Emergency consciousness. So if we are if we are students of emergency consciousness, so what is the idea of having a long-term goal? Something I'm going to do, I should see myself like this 10 years time. Or I should see my project like this 5 years time, 10 years time, 15 years time, I should see my project. So what is the guarantee that I'm going to live for 10 years? No, I'm going to live for 20 years, I'm going to live for 100 years. No. What is the guarantee when we don't have a guarantee? That's our philosophy, right? So our philosophy is that there's no guarantee I'm going to live for 10 years, 100 years, 50 years, 30 years. So what is the question of a long-term goal? Even the short-term goal. Short-term may be 6 months, 1 year. Then I have a long-term goal at 5 years or 10 years, 15 years. What is the guarantee? What is the use? What is the need for that? Is there any need? Yes, there is a need. Even though this is our philosophy. So it is a need. Is it a contradiction? No, it's not. There's no contradiction. There's no contradiction here. Why there's no contradiction? A devotee should plan and leave it in Krishna's hands. Krishna, this is what I want to do as an offering for you. We already discussed that let's not just when you give your full attention to the immediate task, then even if today is your last day, a legacy will live on through your work. So even if today is our last day, when we have established our long-term goals will continue after us because we have devotees who have trained to continue everything. That's because our system is parampara. So one should not think that, okay, because I'm not a doer and I don't know what to say for 50 years more, if I should not plan anything. No, we should plan everything and leave it in Krishna's hand. While we are pushing it, yes, we should leave it in Krishna's hand. And the devotees who have trained, they will take it up. See, all our shadows, that's what they did. They preached the philosophy, they didn't go against the philosophy, they lead the philosophy and they show the particular way how to apply our principle, our teachings, our philosophy in our day-to-day life. Yes. So the Papa left with us TOVP is going on. And many other projects. Temples are coming up every now and then. Every now and then, more temples are coming. More projects are coming up. More, all over the world. Therefore, it is not wrong to have a short-term goals and long-term goals. Short-term goals demonstrate very quickly what you have or have not accomplished. So it's a planning stage. You're planning, I do something. It is just a skeletal stage, but things is going on. And we'll look at it regularly. Long-term goals can help you determine from a broader perspective if you are moving in the right direction. Okay, I'm going to do this in 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 1 year. Yes. So I want to see myself like this in my Krishna consciousness. And I want to see my project like this in this time. So from this time to this time, my projects, I should get these people to do this. This is what I want to do. So, okay, I need architect, I need surveyor, I need blah, 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 so many things. So we can mention all of them and systematically start going about them, one by one, step by step. Planning what we're supposed to do. So we have A, B, C, D, and now we have to prioritize. Very important to prioritize. So in this way, as good as mentioned, we have something that we are working on that it will motivate us to do more. Instead of having nothing to do, just waiting for something to fall from heaven. Did they say building your what? A mansion in the air. Building a mansion in the air. That's a foolish person who do that. No reasonable person builds a mansion in the air. It is on the solid ground. And that requires planning carefully, having a very clear vision, clear understanding. So a leader should be visionary. It's a leader. Having goals and making pledges or vows about accomplishing them will naturally push you toward the desired conclusion. Yes, and we just mentioned it will push us to move forward. Because you have something we are working on, we are moving on. Okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. You're pushing to make sure this is done, this is done, this is done. So we're pushing on. If there's nothing to do, then you have nothing to do. You're a dead body. It may be something. Living a live body must be doing something. Conscious. If you do not push yourself, you may become lethargic. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You are building your mansion in the air, hallucination. You will not be able to do anything. We have nothing to do. You can't do anything if you don't have any goal. If you have no goals, you have no plan. You have nothing to do. We have to start moving. So start moving in the right direction. That's important. So item 6, making better use of time. Making better use of our time. Those who have difficulty with time management often fail to appreciate transitional time. Sometimes people who are intensely involved in a particular activity can become disoriented when they change their focus to something else. This is another thing I would say about I have experience of serving him for many years. It's a good day, say Facebook. Most of the books, the Facebook beggar and the spiritual warrior 1, 2, 3. He wrote them on the way, on the road. I was sitting in the car, right? And I remember one particular incident when we were traveling from Lagos to Benin City. As soon as our car had a difficulty, we parked at the mechanical shop to start fixing the car. Immediately, Gude came out from the car. He came in with his portfolio and just arranged a bench, which was there in the workshop, a bench there, and he used his portfolio as his table. Was there the right thing? So while we are doing everything to get the car fixed so we can continue with our journey, he is very busy. He is never unaware of anything at any time. You will never get him unaware of anything at any time. He was always busy doing something. Always. Oh, this happened. As this thing has happened now, what am I going to do? That doesn't exist in this Holiness, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't. So he is always ready for everything and anything. At every time, he's always ready. So he's saying, and people who have difficulty with time management often fail to appreciate transitional time in between. In between. And especially he mentioned in a third world country. If I'm traveling and somebody asks me, well, when are you going to go to this place? I don't know. When I get there, you see me. Because A car can break down on the way, or there's a heavy traffic on the way. What will you do? I'm going to arrive by 2 o'clock. That's a joke. So a visionary leader, he planned for all this. If this happened, I would do like this. And he personally told me, see, anytime you're planning any project, I should plan positive. Don't rest the email, also plan negative. Plan A and B at the same time, not just A. Not just A. Not just A. You should also plan B. We should work together. If we want to be always on time, always active, not just being disappointed and complain and lament and make offenses to so many people, so many things unnecessarily, better to plan for that. One way to improve your effectiveness as a leader is to become as fully absorbed in the transitional periods between activities as during the activities themselves. It's very powerful. What happened in between? One day, he has a television program. And we go to the television on time. But something happened, the light went off. And they have to try to change over, put the dessert, and that and that and that. So 30 minutes is gone. Right? So be a waste. But for him, it was not a waste because he was reading. He was reading. All the time they were getting ready to do this thing, he was completely absorbed in doing something positive, something wonderful. He was reading. Or he is teaching us how to manage certain things, discussing some issues with some of the leaders who are with him there. When he's traveling, he takes some leaders. He was traveling with some leaders with him. So he's training how to lead, he's teaching. At any moment, they have something to teach, to guide, to answer some issues. So he's very expert. He's very, very expert at that. He knows certain things he will resolve in a car. So when he's traveling, he have to reserve something he wants to settle with some certain devotees in the car. So when he's going, you have to take those devotees in the car and settle everything on the way. So there's nothing like he was caught unaware of something. No, he's perfectly planned. That is how he works towards everything. So the things he will do in the temple, the things he's going to do inside the car, things he's going to do while we're waiting for the program to start, and the things he's going to do while we're coming back to the temple. He has already planned all this. Therefore, he said one way to improve our effectiveness as a leader is to become as fully absorbed in the transitional period, like this. The perfect example that I'll give you 3 examples, which he does regularly. And transitional periods between activities as during the activities themselves. In this way, you can avoid being inactive. Yes. Unaware or distracted while moving from one project to another, one meeting to another, or one location to another. He is fully prepared. This we have seen personally in him, that he does this perfectly. So I mentioned right from the beginning of this discussion on leadership that he is the leader style of life he lived that he put down inside the book. So what is inside the book here is exactly what he does himself. That he put it down because this will go further than his personality. Very interesting that such a person does exist, and it's happened to be our own person. You can determine to do something significant during this unstructured transitional period. That means that the period which would be a source of distraction or bewilderment or frustration for some people. Oh, I wasted my time. Muslims use that time perfectly without complaining, accusing anyone of wasting his time. You can say, what the hell with you? We have spent 1 hour doing nothing here. My good, they don't have that language. You don't have that experience. Why you wasted my life, my time? He doesn't have that because it's fully planned. So everything he wrote here, I think that he does himself perfectly. One way is to keep a notepad handy on which to write down your ideas and realizations. Another way to use time more effectively is to develop alternative plans, especially in third world countries where events do not always go as intended. Those of us from the third world will have this experience, especially in Nigeria. It's always happening. You are traveling a journey which will take you a journey which will take you 3 hours. You spend 5 hours. Or some people are going to school. The school which is supposed to take them 4 years, they're going to spend 8 years. Because this riot, that riot, these things and these things, so many things will come in between. So you cannot exactly say, this thing is going to take me 4 years, I'm going to finish 4 years. It will end you for 8 years. What to do? We have to plan ourselves, knowing fully well how the environment functions. How to plan. So we keep a notepad to write everything down. Keep everything down. He does this regularly. He does this regularly, always, every day. He has everything he wants to do in a day. And some other things which also come in between. He would handle everything perfectly. As I said before, there's nothing like, oh, he was caught unaware of anything. There's nothing like that. That does not exist. He is always on everything as if he was previously informed about it. No, not that he was previously informed. It is just that he knows it and he's ready. If he can handle every situation, emergency or plans, he can handle all perfectly. Then, if plan A does not succeed, you can turn to plan B or even plan C. Such advanced planning prevents any serious loss of time because another option is always available. Yes. So if this does not work, yeah, I can switch over to this. That is the practical life we have seen what this Swami Bhakti tells one. So he put everything he does inside the book so we can continue with it. Still, another useful strategy is to make a list each day of tasks to complete. Reviewing it periodically to note accomplishment and assess what remains to be an assess what remains to be done. With such reminders close at hand, you can spend your time more productively, devoting your energies to the most important aspect of your mission, avoiding duplications of effort, and eliminating any unessential activities. This is a practical life we have seen in him. Here we have a very powerful analogy. One of the most frequently repeated statements people make is, there are so many things I would like to do, but I just cannot find the time. I want to do them, and yes, and I already planned them. All of them are very important. Just see all of them. Just see all of them in my hand. But I don't just have the time. This statement is usually not well-founded. Not well-founded. Not well-founded. No. And then he give analogy, very powerful. By the age of 70, an average American may have spent 10 years working, 23 years sleeping, 6 years in reading and studies, 11 years eating and grooming, 13 years in leisure activities, and 7 years of other odds and ends. A person who saves 20 minutes a day from any of these activities will have received a whole extra year by the age of 70. Just imagine. In other words, people cannot really say that they do not have time. It is just a matter of how they use it. Take this to go this question, and the same answer we get. Few years ago, no, yeah, not few years ago, yeah, long time back when we, that time we were very new in the temple. So some few senior devotees, they want to meet a guru there to complain that we don't really have time. So Guru said, we don't have time? So yeah, we don't have time, we don't have time. So we have to reduce some things so we can have more time. Have to reduce some other activities so we can have time. So Gurudev started like he did analogy here. He did it. What time you sleep? What time you eat? How many time we spend bathing, washing things? How many time we do so? How many hours we have? 24 hours. We divide everything. Everybody look at each other. But by the time we divide anything and look at activities which we do, everybody look at each other and say, we made a fool of ourselves. What do we do with the 24 hours we have? We spend it for so many nonsense things, so many. All the calculations here, which of them here it is for the soul that we have done for Krishna. 11 years eating and grooming. 11 years for eating. 10 years working. 23 years sleeping. 23 years sleeping. 6 years in reading and studies. Studying what? What are we studying? What are you reading? 13 years in leisure activities. Leisure. What is leisure activities? Frog conversations. So how can we say we don't have time? The same with all of us. The same with all of us. It's a very powerful analogy, and everything is fully analyzed here. Okay, we'll continue with utilizing sleep. How to utilize our sleep time for effective management of time. One way to make better use of time is to improve the quality of our sleep so that we can minimize the number of hours we need each day. On the average, people spend as much as 1/3 of their life sleeping. If you can use this time to enhance your learning, you will be much more effective and productive as a leader. One way to increase our learning is, as discussed earlier, is to recollect your dreams first thing in the morning and write down any insight or answers to questions that may have come during the night. You can also use sleep time for memorization. In the morning, you can see how much you have retained. Some people like to set their audio players to audio replay in order to constantly listen to music or dictations while they are sleeping so that these enter into their subconscious. Numerous books and recordings are available to help you make productive use of sleep time. As you learn to appreciate the value of sleep time, you can take better advantage of it to achieve beneficial results for mind, body, and soul. Ultimately, this result can help you render better service to your family, to your particular organization, the society, to the world, and to God. Wonderful. And then we have these time savers from one of the, good thinker, Alan Lack, one of the world's greatest time management consultants, has an excellent 61-point checklist describing how he manages his own time. The list, which appears below as a conclusion to this chapter, is excellent and can be of benefit to every leader. So here we would like all the participants or the devotees to go through this list.
Gurudev, should we invite devotees to read out these points now in the class?
Yes.
If there are any volunteers, devotees, you may unmute yourself, and we have 6 slides, so you can go through them and read 10 points each. Amit Prabhuji, you can go ahead.
Yes, Mataji. My voice is clear, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear.
Okay. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for giving me this opportunity to read. So, time savers. First point is, I count all my time as on time and try to get satisfaction, not necessarily accomplishment, out of every minute. Second, I try to enjoy whatever I am doing. Third, I am perennial optimist. I build on successes. I don't waste time regretting my failures. I don't waste my time feeling guilty about what I don't do. I remind myself there is always enough time for the important things. If it's important, I'll take the time to do it. I try to find a new technique each day that I can use to help gain time. I get up at 5 a.m. during the week and go to bed early. I have a light lunch so I don't get sleepy in the afternoon.
In case there are, yes, Shruti Mataji and Vishnu Priya Mataji, you both could go next. Just give me a minute. Vishnu Priya Mataji, you could go next.
Yes, Hare Krishna Gurudev.
Hare
Please accept
Krishna.
my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Guru devotees. Stand Saver 11. I don't read newspaper or magazine except occasionally. 12. I skim book quickly, looking for ideas. 13. I don't own a television set. My family and I went to a motel to watch the moon walk, and we rented a set for the political conventions. 14. I have my office close enough to my home to be able to walk to work, but when I'm lazy or in a hurry, I drive. 15. I examine all habits for possible elimination or streamlining. 16. I give up forever all waiting time. If I have to wait, I consider it a gift of time to relax, plan, or do something I would not otherwise have done. 17. I keep my watch 3 minutes fast to get a head start on the day. 18. I carry blank 3x5 index card in my pocket to jot down notes and ideas. 19. I revise my lifetime goals list once a month. 20. I review my lifetime goals list every day and identify activities to do each day to further my goals.
Shruti Mataji, you could unmute yourself. Shruti Mataji, are you there with us?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Hare Krishna Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. Please go ahead.
21. I put signs in my office reminding me of my goals. 22. I keep my long-term goals in mind even while doing the smallest task. 23. I always plan first thing in the morning and set priorities for the day. 24. I keep a list of specific items to be done each day, arrange them in priority order, and then do my best to get the important ones done as soon as possible. 25. I schedule my time months in advance in such a way that each month offers variety and balance, as well as open time reserved for hot projects. 26. I give myself time off and special rewards when I have done important things. 27. I do first things first. 28. I work smarter rather than harder. 29. I try to do as A's, never B's, and C's. 30. I have confidence in my judgment of priorities and stick to them in spite of difficulties.
We can have the next devotee unmute themselves, please. Venkatesh Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
31. I ask myself, would anything terrible happen if I didn't do this item? If the answer is no, I don't do it. 32. If I seem to procrastinate, I ask myself, what am I avoiding? And then I try to confront that thing head on. 33. I always use the 80-20 rule. 34. I start with the most profitable parts of large projects and often find it is not necessary to do the rest. 35. I cut off non productive activities as quickly as possible. 36. I give myself enough time to concentrate on high priority items. 37. I have developed the ability to concentrate while for uh, while once again I'm not able to see just while for long stretches of time. 38. I concentrate on one thing at a time. 39. I focus my efforts on items that will have the best long term benefits. 40. I keep pushing and am persistent when I sense I have a winner.
Sachin Prabhuji, we request you to unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hare Krishna to all devotees. "41. I have trained myself to go down my to-do list without skipping over difficult items. 42. I do much of my thinking on paper. 43. I work alone creatively in the morning and use the afternoons for meetings if necessary. 44. I set deadlines for myself and others. I tried 45. I try to listen actively in every discussion. 46. I try not to waste other people's time unless it's something that really matters to me. 47. I delegate everything I possibly can to others. 48. I make use of specialists to help me with the special problems. 49. I have someone screen my mail and phone calls and handle all routine matters. 50. I generate as little paperwork as possible and throw away anything I possibly can.
Srila Gurudev, I'll go ahead with the last set of points which are there. So, yes, Srila Gurudev, I'll share it for everyone. Point number 51. I handle each piece of paper only once. 52. I write replies to most letters right on the letter itself. 53. I keep my desktop cleared for action and put the most important things in the center desk. 54. I have a place for everything. So I waste as little time as possible looking for things. 55. I save up all trivia for a 3-hour session once a month. 56. I try not to think of work on weekends. 57. I relax and do nothing rather frequently. 58. I recognize that inevitably some of my time will be spent on activities outside my control and don't fret about it. 59. I keep small talk to a minimum during work hours. 60. I look for action steps to be taken now to further my goals. 61. I'm continually asking myself, what is the best use of my time right now?
Right. Very good. Yes.
Srila Gurudev, we would just request devotees in case they have any questions or comments.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, the devotees, if you have any questions, you can send it to us through chat, or you can raise your hands and we will invite you. So Pranhari Prabhu has raised hand. So Pranhari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
How are you?
Very good. Happy to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice, same here, Maharaj. Nice to hear again. I think Friday is very useful for me because tomorrow is half day, so I can utilize my time better now.
All right.
Yeah, very nice, Maharaj. I think this is again we need to take it back to the university. The way we are teaching our spiritual to the material people like us. So we need to take it back to the university so that more of the people can take benefit of it here. Yeah, that is very important. Now coming back to my question, Maharaj, is so there are a couple of questions I have. One is basically, Maharaj, I have a like habit of trying to do something like perfect, try to do something perfect. But then at the end of the day, I realize that I wasted so much of time. So, and I feel that I'm very slow learning, that process. So it consumes my more time. So, I feel that way, like, I wasted so much of time. So what is the best way?
Well, the list we had here mentioned that I don't lament over the things I did not do rightly. You don't waste our time lamenting. And I mentioned that according to Bhagavad Gita, that is a mode of ignorance. So yeah, in the Bhagavad Gita, I think the item 5 and 6. It's a mode of ignorance.
Oh.
I don't waste my time feeling guilty about what I don't do. I don't waste my time regretting my failures. So why is it? Because it is done, it is done. Lamenting will not help us. The best thing is to learn from the mistake we have made. And most importantly, we should transcend the mode of ignorance. When the mind is very sharp, when the mind is very, very sharp, and Christian consciousness is designed to make our mind very sharp. But all the disciplines we have in Christian consciousness, the sadhana particular is to make the mind very sharp and attentive in the Christian consciousness. So we can do things effectively. First of all, we have to know, we have to be clear on the goal, which we really mentioned. We have to be very, very clear on the goal. See, if you know how to cook, if you really know how to cook, and you know the ingredient, you know how to cook, you cook very fast.
So much.
So if you don't know how to cook, or if you know how to cook, but the mind is very clouded, then you go to the kitchen, okay, now I want to cook rice. So which rice I should cook? Is it basmati rice, is it jasmine rice? Or see, you are going to spend a long time for nothing. At the end, even though you're finished cooking there, you will not feel happy because you know they have not done the right thing. So Papa taught how to cook, and he put everything all together in one story, 3 layers, and in 30 minutes, everything is finished. Something we have done in 2 hours. He did it in 30 minutes. Why? He knows what to do, and the man is very clear. The man is very clear. This is what I want to cook today. He's very clear. So he just go about doing it. So first of all, before we do something, we should be very clear about what we want to do. Then you get everything which you needed for that. Now we can go ahead doing that. When we are doing a festival here in West Africa, I told devotees, especially the devotees who are cooking, please, before you sleep today, you should, all of you are cooking, please make sure you know exactly what I'm going to cook tomorrow and get everything set tonight before you sleep. You should get it set before you go to bed. So that by tomorrow, when you wake up, you're not worrying about that. You can do your japa very nicely, and then you enter into the kitchen, and within the short time, you do your cooking. So you have done your japa with devotees, you have done your service very nicely. You can participate in all activities. And this will benefit. Otherwise, we're going to waste our time thinking. Just for cooking, we will miss so many other programs. Why? Because we're not sure what we're going to do. When you started cooking, then you're going to start go and ask for matches from the other room, or go and take oil from the other room. But you will just waste time for nothing. But the mind is very clouded. Therefore, it is very important for us to be very clear about what we want to do. And then get everything, all the necessary things ready. So we enter into it, we finish it on time. All right?
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, one more thing you mentioned about the pushing yourself. So, I mean, pushing,
Yes.
yeah. So what basically that what we have to do, like we sometimes, as I mentioned in the just now also, like we take time. So how do we push ourselves, more and more?
So we should, if we are going to succeed for anything, we have to, okay, this is my project. This is my project. And it is something I have to do. So I have to do it. Therefore, we have to set the goal. How am I going to achieve this? By doing this, we have to push ourselves, because now, okay, tomorrow I've decided I want to do Japan. We should apply this principle on everything, every other sadhana that we do in our Christian consciousness. So, for example, tomorrow I want to do my job without discussing in between what to do. First thing I have to plan, I have to force myself not to sit with people who are chanting and discussing. I should force myself to go and sit with the people who are chanting without discussing. Is it not?
Yes.
Yes. It's a practical thing you have to do. I want to do my job tomorrow in the morning on time, then I should force myself to go to bed today on time. I should force myself to do that. Force myself. Why? Because you know the usual thing that I like to do. You know the usual thing. Now I want to change my life, lifestyle, because you're not so productive. So I want to be productive in everything I do. Therefore, I have to arrange myself in such a way. So this is we're pushing ourselves. So you have to set a goal for ourselves. Setting a goal is a push. I will do this, achieve this goal. But this time, I should finish this. It's a push. If it's not done, we are going to take long time to do one thing. Procrastination comes in, well, I will do it tomorrow. Yeah, I can do it tomorrow. And tomorrow will not come. It will become a year, even a lifetime. All right?
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, I think there are more devotees to answer. I'll ask one last question when everyone try to wrap up, so that I'll keep one question reserved for the end.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to ask my question. So my question is from the first point that we discussed in the time savers. I count all my time as on time and try to get satisfaction out of every minute. So Maharaj, I couldn't understand like how we are considering every all time as on time. Like I couldn't get what exactly was to be taken from this point.
I count all my time as on time. Means what I'm doing, that is my time. It's on time. What I'm doing now, this time I'm supposed to do this. So not okay, maybe I have to do this tomorrow. No, this what I'm doing now, this I'm supposed to do this since I'm doing it. So this is timely. So I have to do it.
Okay. So Maharaj, does it mean like I have to does it relate something to presence of mind? Like what I'm doing, I have to be doing that only?
Yes, the mind has to be there. If the mind is not there, you can't do anything wonderful.
Okay. Okay, Maharaj. Yeah, this I understood now.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shamurari Prabhuji, we would like to invite you for your question.
Hare Krishna Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Gurudev, I have a question that a lot of things which we heard from you, they are very helpful, and a lot of things somehow souls know it, that we should be doing this and we should be doing this. It is something not which is which was not known to us. In heart and heart, we know that we should be acting this way, we should not be wasting this way, we should be thinking positive. My question, Gurudev, is that many times when we set goals, the journey is difficult, and therefore it brings distaste when you are doing small steps. So as you don't get a proper taste in every day to day, so you become little less energetic, or you tend to waste your time, or you tend to slow down. So how we philosophically and intellectually, I know that I should be doing this, but not getting proper taste, or where somewhere I'm looking, Gurudev, that becomes a bigger problem than the yes. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So why if it's something I know that I should do, if it's something I know that I should, is this something that I should do? It is not somebody who is imposing it on you, right? It's not you somebody imposing it. It's when you say it's something I know I should do, I want to do, and I want to do it. Okay, you have gone beyond the stage. Okay, something I know I should do, but I don't want to do it now. But someone is pushing me. But this stage, something I want to do, and I like to do, and I'm doing it, and have to do it now. Then this is your desire. It's not imposed on you. Say desire, then the taste should be there. If the taste is not there, it means that is not what you want to do. Maybe you were just following because that is what many people are doing. You want to follow. So I will bring this taste because it's not something that you should do now. But it's something that we have decided to do. You should have taste for it. And even if you don't have taste there, it means that also you require association of those who are doing that thing. You require the association, because the association will improve your own taste on that. Then you can start the, why do we need association of pure devotees? Because they will boost the taste of our Krishna consciousness, because they have it. They will invoke it in us. This will count. So we need that association. That is lucky. And it's important to make a goal, because if you don't make it, we are not going to push ourselves to do something serious. Or I will do it tomorrow, or I will do it tomorrow. You should not have to do it today. That is pushing.
Gurudev, another question I had. This is the last class I wanted to ask a few classes back. Sometime when we are involved in conflict resolution between two parties, and sometime the conflict is, as you mentioned, is most of the time on the external level. The real internal picture, most of the people or most of the are not able to see properly, therefore it doesn't get resolved. So sometimes, Guru, the conflict is because of the strong upbringing of the two parties which have come, and their upbringing or their particular views of nature becomes very difficult to change it. And we could recognize that it's a long term, they have gone through that phase or that period, or that they have developed a certain way of thinking or nature. So in those cases, Gurudev, how should we deal it?
Therefore, as a facilitator, you have to, first of all, before the meeting starts, you have to ask them, so my friend, what do you expect from this discussion? What do you expect for this issue? What are you expecting? You want to, what do you hope to gain for this? You want to resolve it, in your favor and the other person be devastated, even though the person has rights, or you want to help resolve it, consider you yourself have contributed to this problem, and therefore you have to contribute to the solution by sharing the gain and the loss in this issue. This has to be, you have to let them have this clear understanding in their mind. So the best solution here is not about, oh, you are the best, you know everything, you are perfect, and then you won the case, and this person is useless, is we condemn and throw to hell forever. Is that what you expect from this situation? Or you want us to solve this situation in such a way that they will remain a good neighbor for life? What do you expect? So the person said, oh, I want you to remain a good neighbor. Then for us to become a good neighbor, we should also consider the right of the other person, the other party, that they also have a right. This has to be discussed, and the person should have a clear understanding. Oh, no, I don't want this person to be condemned and put into shame, because I also know this is my own fault. So you have to make it very clear. The person should understand. And you have to make the other party also understand, my friend. So what do you expect? What do you expect from this case, this issue? We're going to meet in Tuesday to discuss. What are you expecting? Want me to kill that person and send him to hell, and then you remain here alone? Or what do you expect? Let us discuss it first before we meet. This is negotiation. You have to meet them and get them to have a clear understanding, to take them out from their own box where they are. Inside the box, there's a different understanding. Outside the box, there's a different understanding. When both of them understand the real issue, like we are looking for a solution to peace, let us remain as good neighbors, good friends. Then we come for the meeting. This homework, you have to do it first if you want to resolve it for the benefit of everybody. You have to do this homework first. Otherwise, every person come and throw their garbage without understanding, because it's a win or lose issue. Then you will not be able to get it clear. So you have to make them to understand that this is not just a lose or gain issue. This is a win-win issue. If we want to have a good friendship, we don't know where we're going to meet it tomorrow. So we have to settle this considering tomorrow. If you do this, they will come to better understanding. So when we sit, you will not have big issue to handle. Every person will be able to understand the issue, and they can resolve it easily.
Yes, Gurudev, thank you, Gurudev, for your answer. Especially the first one you mentioned, association is very, very important. And the second one you mentioned, Gurudev, that I need to do the homework before the actual meeting of conflict resolution starts.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna, Shri Gurudev. Should we have four, five more questions? So should we take them now, or are you comfortable?
Yes, can go ahead.
Okay, so the first question is from Sachin Prabhu. Sachin Prabhu is asking that how do we develop determination to do something?
Determination comes from understanding what is the goal. Why do we need to do that? Why do we need to do it? So I want to chant, but why should I chant? What will I gain? What is my benefit? When this is known, the determination is very strong. Somebody told me that because he need money. So if he see money, he will go for it, even if there are heavy security there to kill, he will go for it. Why? Why the determination is so strong? Because he knows if I get the money to serve me this purpose, serve me that purpose, I'll be happy, I'll be do that, do this. So he knows. So for us to be determined to understand the benefits of what we want to do.
Okay. Thank you, Gurudev. So you mean to say, if we know the purpose clearly, then we'll be able to develop determination in a much better fashion.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Gurudev. The next question is, it's about absorption while doing things. So there is a tendency to really continuously be distracted away while doing something. So how to avoid being distracted and completely absorbed into doing something?
To be absorbed in doing something the same way. If we are not getting taste for what we do, we will not be absorbed in it. Just like what will make someone to keep eating? Because the taste of what they're eating is there. It is tasty. So you continue to eat and you request for more. So in the same way, to be absorbed in something, the taste is there. And then that is encouragement for us to keep doing it. And if we are not absorbed in it, if the mind is not there, we will not be absorbed. The mind has to be there. The mind has to be trained to understand the importance of what we want to do. The mind has to accept that this is very good for you. Just like when the mind is interested in any mature thing, you are absorbed in it, to be contemplating, be desiring it, and willing and feeling, and want to do it. So it has to do with the mind, how we program the mind.
Okay, Srila Gurudev. So programming the mind and being completely into this thing with taste what we are doing. This is the solution.
The taste will be there. And you'll be tasting what they're doing. And absorption will be there.
Okay, thank you, Gurudev. So this question is from George Amega Prabhu. So Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji is saying, Hare Krishna Maharaj, you made mention in one of your previous lecture that sun appear only to reduce our lifespan. In otherwise, sun represent time here in our material world. So he's asking, what represents time in this spiritual world? This is the question.
In the spiritual world, time is Krishna himself. In the material world, time is fully independent here. It's a representation of Krishna. In the spiritual world, it is Krishna himself. Just like when you have a company, so you are the director, you sit in the head office. So you are the director. So you are there personally in the head office. With a branch, your manager who is there. And they have to give account to you. In the same way, in the material world, time is controlling everything here, representing Krishna. But in the spiritual world, is the time is Krishna himself. He himself, the time. Therefore, time doesn't function there as a function here, changing everything at past, present, and future. It doesn't function there like that.
Okay, Srila Gurudev, thank you. And second question from George Prabhu is, as a Grahastha, what should be our first activity in the morning and what should be the last in the evening?
As a devotee, every devotee, the first activity we have to do in the morning and the last activity is what? Sadhana. Wake up in the morning, we have to prepare ourselves to do japa, to chant our 16 and take care of our deities and cooking and offering everything. take prasadam, then we go to work. Well, when we come back, the same thing, we have to take care of the deity, do arti, hear Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, many literature, hear something, and chant the Kirtan, and then you go to bed. So we open and close with our sadhana. That is open and close. Prabhupada call it sandwich. In the morning, Japa is there, Srimad Bhagavatam is there. In the daytime, we go to do our work. We come back evening, prasadam, and also Bhagavad Gita is there. We hear something about Krishna. We hear Krishna we have kirtan. We hear about Krishna, take prasadam, and you go to bed with Krishna consciousness. We talk about the proper use of time in sleeping. So we have a very good Krishna conscious sleep. It will enhance our next day activities, the Krishna conscious activities. So that's a sandwich. Krishna consciousness in the beginning, work in the middle, in the evening, Krishna consciousness. So we are complete. Nothing is missing.
Okay, thank you very much, Srila Gurudev. Next question is from Venkatesh Prabhu. His question is, Hare Krishna Maharaj, could you please give practical tips to be able to do daily chores faster? I'm doing activities slowly.
You want to do activity faster?
Yes.
So write the things I want to do for the day. All the things I want to do for the whole day, so write it down. Always have a jotter. Small things, every day you write. Write everything. 10 or 5, whatever items you have, you write it down. And you go through it. As the day is going, you go through it. Okay, I've done this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I told devotees who want to do, say, every day I want to read something. Okay. Every day, 5 o'clock in my reading time. As far as Kali Yuga is concerned, or the third world country, the third world country, where things doesn't go always on time. Don't just depend on 5 o'clock. If you are going out to take a book with you, so read on the way when you're going, or read the way when you're coming. After you finish a job, you should read something. In office or something, so you read something. I go to market, sitting in the bus, you read something. In a car, you read something. If you don't do that and fixing time only for 5 o'clock, you won't be able to complete it. You will not be able to make it. You have to be prepared always. And any time should be like the first thing we say there. And what I'm doing now, I consider it my time, the right time. So we should always prepare ourselves for everything we want to do. Because we're not the controller, and things are not going to always go the way we want it to be. It will not always work like that, because we're not the controller. Therefore, we have to prepare ourselves for everything we want to do, including our short-term and the long-term goals. We should always prepare ourselves for it. So this will make our mind very sharp, because we have the list of things we want to do, and we are planning how to do that and doing them. Our mind will become very sharp.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for that. I will implement that. I had one more question, Maharaj. Two more actually. I will read it out. Also, if a disciple is serving spiritual masters personally every day, during that duration, he need not plan anything independent. Is it correct, Maharaj?
He should know all the things he wants to do or she wants to do for the spiritual master. He should know everything. Even if you don't write it down, because of he has already had experience of what should be done every day for the spiritual master. You should know it. And it is always important also to write it, even if you know. Some people are very intelligent, very sharp. I know I have one friend, she is very, very sharp. She knows everything. When I'm doing my dating worship, she knows everything, the next item perfectly without writing anything down. And she do it perfectly, always on time, very sharp on time. But not always, not everybody will have that ability. Some other person, they write everything down. Say, okay, next. It is better. It is very, very important. So we should do that. So we can know exactly what to do, when to do them, especially when we are giving new assignments and we have other things to do. So we should write them down. So we'll know that, oh, this is something I'm doing every day, but something else has been added. Okay, something has been added. So I don't forget it, because you may go and do all the things we already know. But today, something else has been added. So we have to write it down so we can remember. It's very important. And we're very sharp, so we can memorize it and know it's okay. So it's good. So it depends on our ability to remember to be also active. Be active.
Thank you, everyone. Last question I had was, what is the proper way to take advantage of whatever good association that mercifully given to us by Krishna? I feel I am not clear how to take advantage of the mercy given to me. Thank you, Maharaj.
If you associate, so Papa said the essence of association is here. So whatever we had, we should practice it. Everything should practice it. That is association. And that is advantage. Practice everything that has been given to us. If you don't practice it, then what to do? So you don't make a show of it. But practicing means that we're really ready for it. And we're doing it. And that is how we get the result of what we do. Everything becomes meaningful when we start practicing. So it is said that practice makes perfect. The theory doesn't make one perfect, but practice makes one perfect.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Let us know.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Gurudev. We just have one last question from Jayesh Prabhu. Can we take that?
Yes.
So his question is, Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. Some ISKCON devotees feed prasadam to Brajvasis in Vrindavan regularly. So should we contribute by giving donation to them? And does this donation give us any karma or material or spiritual benefits? And should we continue to give donation? This is his question.
Yes, they're feeding Brajvasis. We should give them donation so they can do that. That is good. Our prasadam is not a pious activity. The prasadam is spiritual activity. Not just a pious activity. It's spiritual. Because it's prasadam, it goes to the soul. Not just feeding poor people. The prasadam is spiritual. It's a spiritual activity. So we should do that. We should contribute to keep it going.
Okay, thank you, Gurudev. So we are coming to an end. So, Janand Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I have one question, Guru Maharaj. Suppose in a family or in an organization or in the temple community, if one of our members, they are very slow at doing things, then as a leader, how to deal in such situation?
Very slow at doing things.
Yes. And now as being responsible for that community, so how to handle that?
So it will be better to give him activity that he can do that slow thing. We don't put him or her in something that he needs urgent attention. So, for example, they're going to do offering to the deity by 2 o'clock. So you don't give him the way he's going to or she's going to give you the boga at 3 o'clock. So you have to change the service. You can put the person there and give him a different service or hire a different service. Here's an example. So you're going to do burger offering at 2 o'clock, and the person is going to give it to you at 3. So you're not a good person to be there. So give the person a different service. So you put somebody there who's going to do the job very nicely, and you can do everything for the deities on time. This is just example. We give example. You can use any example too.
But if he's doing that service in a group, collectively, then how to do that?
Materially speaking, so we are footballers. We are on the team. We are footballers. If you pass the ball to me and I keep it and don't pass it on to you, you're going to score?
No.
But if you want to score, what to do?
Give it to another person.
So let the person do a different service. The person should do a different service. Otherwise, you have to tell the person the importance of doing everything on time. We have a committee, Sabah, a GBC committee, Sabah. So our chairman is very, very particular about this. We are team players. You have to play. If you don't attend the meeting, if you're not contributing when there is a discussion, there is no contribution. There's nothing. Prabhu or Mataji, please, you should resign. If you're going to be here, then you have to contribute something. That is why you are here. Otherwise, any person can come here. So if you're not going to perform, what is the issue of doing that? If you are working in your office, if you have a worker in your office and every day is late, every day late, every single day is late, and assignment is not doing, will you keep the person there?
No.
So what is the problem with us as a devotee? What is the difficulty? If someone accepts the service to do, then we should do it nicely. Otherwise, we should give the person, I'm repeating my word, give the person a different service. I don't say you should throw the person away. Give the person different service. Everybody has a different talent, and we know our ability for certain things. We should give the person the thing the person can do nicely. Is it okay? It's difficult.
Yes, thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Otherwise, you're not going to move forward. The person can come anytime. You see, the deity will be very happy when it is 2 o'clock to offer him something and nothing is there. I'm going to come by 3 o'clock to offer. The deity will be very happy.
No.
So if the deity is not happy, what is our benefit of doing the deity?
Okay, thank you again, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Thank you so much for giving your association today. We had a wonderful association of you today, where we heard a lot about managing time, and surely it's going to benefit all of us. We'll try to imbibe these in our personalities and the techniques to make the best use of our time, and utilizing sleep time also, and memorizing things and taking care of the time savers. So thank you very much for explaining them to us in detail. It certainly is very useful for us, and thank you very much for the question and answers.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Gurudev. We would like to invite you again for the next session. So thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Damodara Swami
Yes.
Maharaj ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you.